Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Strategy Skills podcast from Firms Consulting and obviously our main site, strategytraining.com. In previous episodes of the Strategy Skills podcast, we went into the visioning workshop and then we came out of the visioning workshop discussing some of the lessons. I'm actually going to go back into the visioning workshop because a lot of viewers and followers had some questions. Now, obviously, the videos here are not as detailed as the videos that sit behind our paywall on strategytraining.com. Just in the visioning workshop alone, I can't remember exactly, but I think there's about 350 to 450 slides and something in the region of 100 detailed videos. So I'm going to jump in and out and pull out some key insights, but obviously it will be done at a little bit of a higher level, and you can follow things as we think it through. And one of the big questions raised is, Michael, you guys talk about capital and changes to the business, capital required to operate the core. There's a lot of capital requirements and capital changes. I thought it'd be a good idea to put that all on one slide. Now, if you are listening to this in audio, then you should go to our YouTube channel, Firms Consulting on YouTube, because you can watch the video that I'm going to talk through, or you can even go to our strategytraining.com website and listen to the Strategy Skills podcast where the video is loaded. But YouTube will probably get it first. So now remember, here we are talking through and helping a power company, Empire International, figure out how they should change their business, right? Now what I've done is I've captured all of the capital changes on one slide. The dark blocks are where we're going to release capital. That means capital will be freed up to invest in the business. The light blocks is where we're going to use up capital. The key thing to note here is that you can see they're roughly equal. That means there are 3 ways we can free up capital and 3 ways we can use capital. This is an important slide because it captures at a high level the overall principles that sit behind what we are doing. 1, capital will be required by the core. So whatever we decide is going to be our core business, and you can watch the rest of the study to figure out what that is going to be. Whatever we decide to be the core business, we need to create new capacity. So whatever skills we now have in the core business, we need to increase the capacity to serve new clients and do a better job. But we don't just need new capacity, we may need new skills as well. So in the core business, we have to look at where we have existing skills, what capacity do we need, maybe new engineers, and where we don't have skills, we have to build skills. That takes money, right? Growth costs money. Next thing is to operate those core businesses, we need working capital. We need to run them. It costs money to run a business. The third way we're going to spend capital, and this is counterintuitive, but it makes sense if you think about it, is that for businesses we decide that are not core, we need to still run them until we either close them down, sell them, or merge them into another part of the business. And a lot of times when you do strategy work, you just focus on your core business, but the non-core parts can be a huge drain on your business if you don't manage it well. So 3 ways we're going to burn up capital, but we're also going to release capital. Remember, I spoke about just a few minutes ago about right-sizing core capacity. That means if you have a skill, maybe we need new capacity, more engineers to do the work. But what if we have a situation where we need a skill in our core business, but we have too much assets, too much labor? Then we right-size it, which is a fancy word for retrenching. If you retrench people, you take a charge, but you free up capital in the long term because you don't pay salaries. That's one way we'll release capital, which will then reinvest in the business. Next is we may sell non-core assets. Things we decide that are non-core, we'll sell them. So the sale price minus the cost of sprucing them up and making them look pretty, minus the cost of selling them, minus the operating cost of running them until we sell them gives us the net return from selling non-core assets. We'll also get capital from closing non-core assets. We may have a part of the business that we cannot sell or maybe don't want to sell for strategy reasons, or it's a critical skill that we don't want to put into the market for competitors, or maybe it's just such a one-down asset, it doesn't matter, no one's going to buy it. But again, the capital release from the closure is the cost savings from running it minus the cost savings we would get from not running it in the future, minus the cost savings, I'm running it until we close it, minus the cost savings of closing it. For example, if we had a chemical facility, we'd have to rehabilitate the land before we close it. There's a cost attached to that. Now, that should give you an idea of all the ways we are tracking capital into the business. And at the end of this, as you know, the business has very little cash on hand. So we have to do all of this in such a way that we can manage the business so they don't run out of cash. Because if they do run out of cash, they would have to be capitalized by their parent company, which is Empire Energy. And Empire Energy does not want to do that because Empire Energy has their own problems in terms of building power stations. Now, in the study, Empire Energy doesn't know they're going to be building power stations yet. Because of our work, we push them into that. But you'd have to follow the study to see how that happens. And of course, more detail and the stuff on our website. Now, one important thing I want to point out here, and it's in the footer, it's buried here. We can build a value chain for Empire International, and we do that. You can see there's a lot of videos on the value chain. Inside the value chain, we can plot each business as a bubble to say that in this part of the value chain, there's a lot of bubbles because Empire International has a lot of businesses operating it. Empire International is made up of many separate businesses. The size of the bubble can tell us if they are creating economic value or not, and by plotting the size of the bubbles and changing the colors of the bubbles depending on whether it's positive economic profit or negative economic profit, we can see where in the value chain economic profit is being created. Now we do this. Later we're going to do this. And it is, in every study there's one quintessential slide that captures the entire study and what we are trying to do. This slide, which is going to come in the future, does it. It is a brilliant slide. When I was a partner and used to travel from country to country and from study to study, and I was a troubleshooter for the firm. So the firm would send me in if an engagement was going badly or if a relationship was going badly and I needed to fix it. One thing that always shocked me is that when you're doing these transformation studies, trying to get the clients to understand whether they should be in their core business or outside their core business, it always surprised me that not many more engagement teams were doing this kind of value chain plot that we will do in the study. And I would try to encourage them to do it. Initially, they would always be resistant because calculating economic profit is a little bit more work. But then when they do it, they're always dazzled by, oh my God, I can't believe that we've never looked at this because the clients really understand what we are doing. So the point of this video is to get you to really start thinking better about how money is moving into the business. Money is coming in and money is going out. At the end of the day, we've got to get more money coming in than money going out. And we have to do this while we're taking this entire business through a very large change to their business model. It's not as if this is going to be simple to do, right? But this is how you have to think about capital when you are either running your own business, personal life, but also more importantly, advising other clients. As always, I hope you enjoyed this little video with this important insight about the way you think about cash moving in and out of businesses, and hopefully it'll help you with your own work. And that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed doing the episode. Finally, I want you to remember that the only way to get access to our special offers, the only way to get our special pricing, and the only way to get samples of our content is to join the list on firmsconsulting.com. It's the only way also to get access to our unique advanced content that we make available to insiders. So if you want to get a sneak peek of things, test it out, see what's in there, this is the place to go. And finally, I want to thank you again for making us one of the largest podcast channels around the world for careers and for the 2 million downloads and counting.